Broke off my engagement because my mother sabotaged my proposal. Now my ex wants me back after a year, but I'm not sure if I should forgive her or stay no contact. Hey everyone, I need some outside perspective. Am I the jerk here for not giving my ex a second chance after everything that happened with my mother? I organized what I thought was the perfect surprise engagement for my longtime girlfriend, only for her to reject me in front of everyone after overhearing my mother trash talk her. Now, after a year apart, she's reappeared wanting to fix everything, but the pain and trust issues are still so fresh for me. Let me walk you through the whole story. Last year, I, 32M, was happily in love with a wonderful woman, Melissa, now 33F. We dated for 3 amazing years and always talked about marriage as the end goal. We both worked good jobs, lived on our own financial terms, and finally moved in together. Melissa had always dreamed of a picture-perfect, super romantic proposal. She'd drop hints about wanting her sisters and parents present, catching the surprise on camera. So, when I got promoted to regional manager last year and started bringing in a real salary, I realized this was my chance. I could finally propose to Melissa and start building the family we both wanted. It honestly was the happiest time in my life. I couldn't picture my future with anyone else. Really wanting her proposal to be flawless, I first met with her parents, who were thrilled. Then chatted with her sisters, asking them to help me pick out a stunning but pricey ring. I went all out and booked a beautiful rooftop venue. To keep things a secret, I told our friends it would be a promotion party and even flew my parents out, saying it was to celebrate my new job. For weeks, I worked with a planner and caterer to make everything perfect for Melissa. The night of the event, the place was sparkling with lights, filled with happy chatter from friends and family, all believing it was just a fun get-together. I couldn't stop thinking about the ring burning a hole in my pocket, waiting to change both our lives. The evening was fantastic at first. Melissa mingled happily with everyone, enjoying the food, sharing laughs, soaking up the mood. The buzz in the air was palpable. Eventually, I clinked my glass to grab everyone's attention, nerves suddenly shooting up as dozens of eyes turned to me. I snuck a quick look at Melissa standing next to me, pure happiness across her face. In that moment, everything felt right. I started my speech, thanking our gathered friends and family. I reminisced about my and Melissa's relationship, the little victories and big challenges that made us who we were. The love and support in that room was everything. Finally, I went down on one knee and held the ring out toward her. That's when everything changed. I remember the shift in Melissa before anyone else saw it. Her smile faded, her expression clouded, and the energy in the room grew tense. Suddenly, it was silent. Everyone seemed to sense something was off as Melissa's voice barely made it out. I can't. Time stopped. An awkward, painful silence settled as my hopeful proposal fell empty. Still kneeling, ring in hand, confused and devastated, I barely managed to ask, "Is this a joke?" Melissa's eyes filled with tears. "I can't marry you." Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd. Disbelief and heartbreak rippled in waves over everyone there. Her parents looked shattered. Her sisters just stared blankly. Shaken, I stood up and gestured for Melissa to come outside with me. I was desperate to know why. Up until this moment, everything had felt perfect and right. Once outside, away from the crowd's whispers, I pleaded, "Melissa, what happened? Did I make a mistake? Please, help me understand." She wouldn't meet my eyes, her silence pressing down on me. "It's not that you did something wrong," she finally said, her tone somber. "It's us. It's me." I was stunned. "Melissa, why? We've built so much together. Was it the party? The proposal?" She shook her head, insisting the effort meant everything to her, but that wasn't the reason. I begged her for the truth. Then, in a voice colder than I'd ever heard, Melissa told me, "You're not the person I thought you were. I can't do this. I can't marry you." I was devastated. I asked, "What do you mean? Nothing's changed." Her voice was ice. "You're too complacent, not ambitious. Tonight made me realize I've outgrown you. I just can't ignore your flaws anymore." Completely blindsided, I begged again for clarity, but she wouldn't elaborate. "It's not worth explaining. We're done. You have to grow up and figure out your own life." She walked away. I went back in, parents on both sides anxious and confused. I couldn't explain anything. I didn't even have any answers myself. Guests started to trickle out as the party fizzled, everyone feeling the weight of what had just happened. My mom and dad hovered close all night. I could barely speak. The night ended not with joy and excitement, but but with heartbreak and confusion. The next few weeks were bleak. Melissa didn't contact me. Her sisters came by only to pack up her things. She couldn't even bear to see me. I texted and called, desperate for closure, but she blocked me out. I even asked her family if they knew what happened, but they too claimed ignorance. I felt like a ghost in my own life. The proposal ring was a constant, heavy reminder of our broken dreams. Every night, I replayed the party in my head, looking for what I'd missed. No matter how many times I tried to reach her, that silence on the other end crushed me. Eventually, I decided to cut off contact for my own sanity. She wasn't going to reach out, and I couldn't keep torturing myself. I poured myself into work, clinging to friends for support. My mother stayed by my side, cooking for me, making sure I ate and didn't disappear into the sadness. Her comfort was all that kept me afloat at times. Eventually, my mother returned home, and slowly, painfully, I picked myself back up. A year passed. I was in a better mental state, but the scars ran deep. Dating was difficult. Melissa's abrupt, unexplained end to things left me with major trust issues and a constant fear of abandonment. I leaned hard on work and friends for distraction and support. So, imagine my shock when just yesterday, my doorbell rang while I was relaxing at home, and I opened the door only to see Melissa standing there. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Once the shock wore off, I let her in, bracing for whatever she had to say. She looked anxious, nervous. "Can we talk?" she asked. Hesitant, I agreed, and we sat in my living room, the air thick with everything unsaid. After a long pause, Melissa said she'd thought a lot about the past year and now realized her mistake, ending things the way she did. But I needed her, finally, to give me an answer. Why did you leave me? What really happened that night? What she told me floored me. Before the proposal, her sister had gotten suspiciously insistent about freshening up Melissa's nails, which tipped Melissa off that a proposal may be coming. While getting ready in the restroom, Melissa overheard my mom on the phone. She heard my mom saying she never believed her son would marry someone like Melissa. Worse, she heard my mom saying another woman, Tara, would have been the better match for me. Melissa, shaken, confronted my mom. My mom, at first dodging, finally admitted that she'd never truly wanted anyone but Tara as my wife. Context here. Tara was the daughter of my mom's lifelong best friend. Ever since we were kids, the two moms dreamed of us getting married. Once, during college, pressured by my mom, I dated Tara, only for her true nature to come out. Tara was manipulative, controlling, jealous, and deeply toxic. I ended things after a few miserable months, despite my mom's disappointment. Over the years, though, my mom just couldn't let the idea of Tara go. She was always, apparently, comparing any new girlfriend to her. When I met Melissa, I told my mom it was over for good with Tara and begged her never to mention that name to or about us again. Since we lived in another city, I thought all that was behind us. But at the engagement party, my mom told Melissa that Tara was my one true love and implied Melissa could never make me happy, that I'd always be settling for second best. Melissa felt blindsided, heartbroken, and didn't tell me because she figured I'd just confirm what my mother said. Melissa told me she'd spent the last year in therapy, confronting what happened, realizing she'd made a mistake, and wishing she'd talked to me instead of just walking away. She begged forgiveness and asked for another chance. I was reeling. Betrayed not just by Melissa's abrupt exit, but that my mom, my support through all the pain, was the reason behind it. I told Melissa I needed time and space, and she agreed, promising she'd wait for me to decide. Now here I am, still in shock, wondering if we can rebuild after such deep damage, or if the past is too much to overcome. I honestly don't know if I'm an ass for not giving her another shot, or if I should just try to move on. Update 1. I really appreciate everyone's input, comments, and DMs alike. It's been a few days, and I finally called my mother to address what happened. The call was tense right from the start. I asked directly about what she said to Melissa at the party. My mom seemed surprised I was even asking about Melissa after all this time, and wanted to know what happened. I explained how Melissa came back and wanted to fix things. My mother immediately complained I never should have let her in the house, but I stopped her and demanded the truth about her conversation with Melissa. She tried to brush it off at first, saying I shouldn't believe nonsense from Melissa. But when I pushed harder, saying I needed honest answers or could never trust her again, Her tone changed. She became defensive, saying I was wasting my life on women like Melissa and calling her manipulative. My patience wore thin. I flat out asked if she'd mentioned Tara to Melissa. My mother scoffed, insisting it wasn't her fault Melissa eavesdropped, and saying that Melissa forced her to explain about Tara. I asked my mom point blank if she actually believed what she told Melissa that night. She doubled down, saying she'd always known Tara and I were meant to be together, and that I was wasting my life on other women. My anger boiled over. I told her what she did was unforgivable, that she could have just told the truth about my history with Tara instead of undermining Melissa. I shouted that this was my life, my decisions, and she had no right to keep sabotaging them. I ended the call, making it clear I'd be cutting her off for a while. She started crying hysterically, yelling that she'd always hated Melissa and blamed her for everything. I hung up and blocked her. I couldn't take her manipulations anymore. Since then, my father, Phil, has called, but I told him I'll talk when I'm ready. I'll admit, I'm angry at both my mother and at Melissa. I should have given Melissa a heads up about Tara, but I still can't believe Melissa dumped me on the spot because of what my mother told her, without ever checking with me. I'm not sure how I'll handle seeing Melissa again, or if I can. Update 2. After all your feedback, I decided not to meet Melissa again, but sent her an email instead, so I could get my thoughts out calmly and clearly. Here's what I said. Hey Melissa, I've had some time to reflect on everything and wanted to share my thoughts. I'd appreciate your honesty and the courage it took to lay out what really happened that night. I know that wasn't easy for you. Hearing what you and my mom discussed shocked me. I had no idea she'd interfere in such a personal and crucial moment. It's painful knowing her words may have driven you away. I made it clear to her long ago that Tara was off limits, but she ignored that and did something unforgivable to you. That being said, having you end our relationship so suddenly without once talking to me about it was enormously painful. I recognize what you must have felt, and I understand your confusion and hurt, but I wish you'd given me a chance to share my perspective. I appreciate your willingness to seek forgiveness and the steps you've taken to understand your decisions, but I need to focus on my own recovery. I hope you respect my decision and the need for distance. I truly wish you happiness and healing. I haven't heard back since I sent this message, and I'm genuinely at peace with it. If she does reply, I'll update. Update 3. Melissa responded, and I'm sorry for the late update. I've been swamped at work. She was saddened by my email. She'd hoped after everything that I'd eventually forgive her. She acknowledged my feelings and admitted regret for walking away that night without talking to me. She said I'd always be the one for her and that she'll never stop regretting letting me go. Reading her reply set off a wave of nostalgia. I truly did love Melissa, and a part of me still does, but my life has taken an unexpected turn. I'm focused on myself now, determined to keep moving forward and heal. That wraps up the whole story. This story shows how unresolved family issues and poor communication can unravel even the most carefully planned dreams. Sometimes, a single moment of interference, especially from those we trust, can have long-term, life-changing effects. What do you think? What would you have done if you were in OP's position? Would you open your heart again to Melissa, or is some damage just too deep to repair? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.